Hello everyone. So today I will be explaining you the poem A Work of Artifice written by poet Marge Piercy. So first we have to know the meaning of the word artifice. So the work of artifice, here the meaning of artifice is that the use of clever methods to trick somebody. Okay, so let me write it for you. Here I'm writing. The use of clever methods to trick somebody. Okay, let me introduce this poem first. A Work of Artifice is a poem written by Marge Piercy. Okay, here Marge Piercy uses the metaphor of a bonsai tree to explore the social constraints placed on women. Constraints mean something that limits somebody or you or me, somebody. Something that limits somebody. So here this line means that here Marge Piercy uses the metaphor of a bonsai tree to explore the social constraints, the limitations placed on women. I hope you can understand the meaning of constraints. You can also say it's a limitation that is placed on women. The poem contrasts the tree's natural potential to grow tall with its artificial confinement and pruning by a gardener, representing how women are conditioned to fit social expectations and gender roles. The poem critiques how women are limited in their development while still being expected to be beautiful and nurturing. Okay? So first I will be reading the poem. The bonsai tree in the attractive pot could have grown 80 feet tall on the side of a mountain, till split by lightning. But a gardener carefully pruned it. It is 9 inches high. Every day, as he whittles back the branches, the gardener croons, "It is your nature to be small and cozy, domestic and weak. How lucky little tree to have a pot to grow in. With living creatures, one must begin very early to dwarf their growth. The bound feet, the crippled brain, the hair in curlers, the hands you love to touch." Okay, so bonsai tree has been used as a symbol of the social conditions that limits women's growth and potential, mirroring the way bonsai trees are pruned and confined to a small pot. Okay, and here gardener represents the forces that shape women's lives, including cultural norms and social expectations that discourage independent thought and behavior. So this gardener is being metaphorized by the poet. This gardener can be anyone, like the society, a man, or any male who are responsible for the discouragement of independent thoughts and behavior of women. Now I will be starting the explanation. So here, see, the bonsai tree in the attractive pot could have grown 80 feet tall on the side of a mountain till split by lightning. Okay, this line tells that the bonsai tree, which could have grown 80 feet tall in the nature, or naturally it could have grown 80 feet tall, which is an attractive pot. This nature is an attractive pot for the bonsai tree. Okay, on the side of a mountain is cut short by the lightning. So this bonsai tree could have grown 80 feet tall in the nature very, very, very naturally on the side of a mountain if it was allowed to be grown. But it is cut short by the lightning. Lightning could be any external forces or any external agents that has cut the tree short into a bonsai tree. Okay, so this part is understood. Now coming to the next part. But before that, I want to tell that this line tells that a woman could have developed much if she was allowed to develop and grow independently the way she wanted to grow and develop herself. But her development is cut short, is restricted by the society, by the social constraints. That's why she has not been able to grow tall into a developed and a grown person. Now coming to the second part. But a gardener carefully pruned it. It is 9 inches high. Underline this. Here, the gardener represents the society which carefully shapes and restricts the growth of the tree, that is, the women, just to fit in a pot or an aesthetic environment. The tree's height, which is 9 inches high, written over here, says the extent of its restriction, the extent of restriction of a woman, up to which the tree or the woman can grow or is allowed to grow. Okay, next. Every day, as he whittles back the branches, the gardener prunes. It is your nature to be small and cozy, domestic and weak. So, here the gardener is daily pruning, and the lines reflect that the expectation of the society was like this, that the women should be small, domestic and weak, as well as cozy. And it seems natural to the society. Here the word prune means to cut down, and the word croon means to softly on your own, like this. Okay, so this part is done, and this part is also done. Okay, so coming to the next part. How lucky little tree to have a pot to grow in. The pot restricts the growth of the bonsai tree. That is, the tree cannot grow beyond the boundaries which has been set for it. This reflects the social view that women should be grateful for their domestic roles, even though these roles can be restrictive. Means the society thinks that the women are very lucky, means they think that the women are very lucky to have a pot to grow in, means they are using the women as a decorative item in their house. They think that the women do not have to go outside, face the social aggressions and social things that men has to face, that the women are not facing and they do not need to face. So they are very lucky. The society and the men think that the women are very lucky to have a pot to grow in, a beautiful decorative place where the tree or women is growing very happily. They think that they are not setting any restrictions to women, and yeah, that's what it means. So this part is also done. Now coming to the next part. With living creatures, one must begin very early to dwarf their growth. The bound feet, the crippled brain, the hair in curlers, the hands you love to touch. Looking attractive is the only way to be accepted by the society. Means the more you look attractive, the more you are accepted by the society, in case of women. So here it is said that one must start the one must start to dwarf the growth or stunt the growth of the women very early, so that they cannot grow further and attain its actual potential and develop more than men. Okay, dwarf here means stunt their growth. The bound feet. Okay, this part has a historic thing, or you may say a very long time back. This was very famous in China. Let me tell you the history first. Foot binding was a painful practice of disfiguring female feet in China, which actually originated during the late Tang and early Song dynasties around 10th century and continued till the early 20th century. Okay, initially this was practiced by elite women of that is the women of upper classes, and gradually it started to spread in other social classes too. It became a symbol of beauty and a requirement for marriage. Means the Chinese people used to think that small feet, if the women had small feet, they would look very, very, very attractive, very good, very good looking, and it became a requirement for marriage. If you had this kind of fit, there would be no restrictions in your marriage, or any kind of, there will be no obstacles for that woman to marry a person, a man. Okay, so this is the history of the bound fit. This was specially seen in China. Okay, and it continued for several years, several years. So now it's totally stopped. This thing is no more there nowadays. So okay, so bound fit done. Now comes to the crippled brain. Crippled brain is a brain that is unable to function fully or at its full potential. Okay, it refers to the intellectual thing of women. Okay, intellectual, you may say intellectual stiffness of women, means ultimately the society, the men are in those times used to think and wanted that women should not be more established than them. They should not reach at their full potential. Even though they had the capability to reach at their full potential at a high level of their life. So that's why they worked on it, this making women's brain unable to function at its full potential, bind their feet and all. And now comes the hair in curlers. So it is a reference to traditional beauty standards and the efforts that the women made for appearing good or looking good in front of the society or the men. And the last comes the hands you love to touch. Means the hands of women should be very soft like cotton and all, which whenever you loved you can touch and all. Okay, now this is also done. Now the thing I want to tell you all is that in this video I just explained the poem line by line. In my next video I will be discussing the themes and MCQs, question answers and all, critical analysis of the poem. Okay, a brief summary also I will be giving to you all so that you can do it well. Okay, so that was it. Bye and have a good day.